Welcome to Programming with Python session 12. Before we move ahead with the session, I would like to introduce you to our shell website, which is technolearnit.com. I would suggest you to visit this website and get more details about who we are, what we offer in terms of courses, what kind of courses we offer. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can use any one of these means to connect with us. And most importantly, for people like you who are attending these live sessions for past couple of weeks, or if you are the very first, if you are attending this for the very first time, this page will help you to download the resources that have been used in last 11 sessions. You can download them for free and you can make use of them. Also, the same web page will also contain the information about the next live date and time. So I would strongly suggest you to keep an eye on this page to have the up-to-date information. All right. So all these are downloadable links, and you can go through them and you can download the content that has been used in the past 11 sessions, and today is the 12th session. Along with that, I would strongly suggest you to subscribe and follow us on different social media platforms that have been mentioned here. In addition to that, um, most importantly, the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel Technolearnit. You can visit this, and I would suggest you to subscribe to this channel so that you will be getting daily quiz questions, and also all the live sessions will be available here. So all these live sessions, all these quiz questions would be based on the sessions that would have been conducted, so that every day you will be getting an opportunity to think and also be in touch with the topics that we have been discussing in these live sessions. So I would strongly suggest you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. All right, with that said, let us get on to the session. Primarily today we are going to focus on strings. This session is on strings. So what is a string? String is an ordered sequence of characters enclosed within quotation marks. And when I say characters, those characters can be either alphabets, English alphabets, either lowercase or uppercase. And interestingly, digits can also be considered as a characters when they are enclosed within quotation marks. Symbols, meaning all the operators that we use in Python, along with other symbols that we see on the keyboard, can be considered as a string when they are enclosed within quotation marks. And finally, the spaces or space characters, like not only space but also the tab character, right? The new line character, all these things can be considered as strings when they are enclosed within single quotes. All right, let us look at some examples. So where do you really use strings? Strings are used to store a sequence of characters, as you already understood from the definition. And the practical example would be here to store the name of a city, of a person, or anything. Okay, here I have stored the name of a person, Abhi, and look at it. Name is the name of the string, and I am assigning Abhi to that name variable. Name is string type of variable. Okay, Abhi is the value of that particular variable, and Abhi is a string literal, string constant, which is enclosed within single quotes over here. So if we just print name and the type of the name, first when you are printing name, you will be getting Abhi, and the type of the name would be class string, class str, because str stands for string in Python. So the type of this name variable would be string type, and the name would be Abhi. And then what if I use the print statement like this? I have printed hello. What is hello here in this case? Hello is nothing but another string. How can I say that? Because it is enclosed within a single quotes, right? It is a, sequence of characters enclosed within single quotes. And you see here, comma is a symbol. So string can contain a symbol, as we have already gone through. So hello, comma. This entire thing constitutes a string. And I use a comma to separate two strings to print. So print is a function, right? So name is one string, hello comma is another string. So you can pass multiple strings as arguments to print. And say for example, I want to store the name of the weekday into a variable. For that I have used a day and then I have assigned Sunday. Interestingly, here the string Sunday or string literal Sunday is enclosed within double quotes. So a string can be enclosed within either single quotes or double quotes. Both are valid in Python. Now, if you print the day, you will be getting Sunday printed on the screen in the output. And again, here in the next print statement on line number 6, today is today space. Yes, space can also be part of a string as we have seen here. Today is sequence of alphabets, then you have a space, is again is a sequence of alphabets, everything enclosed within single quotes constitutes a string. Here today space is a string literal, and comma is used to separate the arguments to print, and a day is another string type. So here if you print this, if you execute this print statement, you will be getting today is Sunday, right? And what are the other symbols that you can use? Since we can use symbols heavily in the strings, so H is an alphabet, dot is a symbol, no again alphabets, space is a space again, two is a digit but considered as a string because it is enclosed within single quotes. Hyphen or minus is a symbol, slash is a symbol, comma is a symbol. Like this, you can use symbols in your strings. All right. With that said, let us go to practical session on this now. So I can store anything in this name, right? Now if I ask what is there in name, it will give you Abhi. You can also print if you are interested in. So you can ask print name. It will give you Abhi without any single quotes, right? And what is a type of name? The type of the name is class str, meaning it is a string type, right? You can also print if you are interested in print type of name. That would also give you string type. All right. Now I say city is equal to, I using double quotes now, Hyderabad. Now if I check what is there in city, you can see that Hyderabad coming in a single quotes. When I have assigned the value to city variable, I have used double quotes, but while I print it back on IDLE, I'll be getting it in single quote, right? So that is perfectly fine because Python by default treats it as a single quote string always. Not always, but there are some specific cases, but I'll talk about that. Okay. Now, if you print city, and also it's a type, you can guess the output now, right? You'll be getting Hyderabad without any single quotes or double quotes because it's a print statement. We just prints a string without any quotes, and the type of city would be class str. All right. So this is all what you have been seeing. And if you want to store address, you can just use different things here. All right. So 2 dash 3 dash 45 by 6 by 3, whatever, anything, right? And you can print the address. Yes. So this is how you can include digits, special symbols, spaces, and alphabets to construct a string, right? So I can create one variable called str1. I can put hello in single quote. I can create another string with hello in double quotes. And when you print both of them, str1 and str2, the content is same, right? So you'll be getting hello again. Both hello constant string constants will be printed out. All right. So this is how you can understand the strings, right? And the other thing I wanted to explain here is the name. Once again, I'm printing it. It is Abhi. I want to greet him. For that, what I can do is I can first print the name, which is Abhi, and then okay, sorry. I'll first print the word with which I want to greet him. Okay, I want to also put a comma, and then I'll terminate this string hello, and then I'll give the variable name in which the person name is stored. So you see the output would be hello Abhi, right? So here for print function we have passed two arguments. This is one string up to here. This is a second string because name is of type string type, right? So two strings are passed to print with a comma, right? So you can pass multiple strings as arguments to print function this way. Okay, one can be string constant or string literal, and the second one would be could be a string variable, or both of them can be variables also. For example, I want to print name and address, quite possible. So you can separate these strings with comma in print. Make sense? This is how you can construct a string using alphabets, digits, symbols, and spaces. All right, let's move on. What if you want to store some mobile number in a variable? So for that, I can say mobile number or mobile some variable you take of type string. It would become because you are going to store a quotation mark enclosed content to that. So the mobile becomes a string type of variable. Okay. And here also, if you look at it right, contact us on is string literal and mobile is a string variable. You have separated by them. You have separated them by comma. And interestingly, let me give you one more example. You see here, you can take the same example. Name is Abhi without any space. Address has no space within that, right? Has no space with. However, in the output, you got a space between these two strings. From where did this come? That is a default behavior of print function. Whatever it prints, if it is printing more than one element, it will automatically separate them by a single space. If you want to override this, you should use sep equal to whatever value you want to separate it with. For example, I want to separate these two values by star. So you need to use again separator also takes a string argument, string type of argument. So you need to put it here. You see now there is no space between these two strings printed, but you got a star between these two, right? Between these two strings when they are printed because you explicitly asked to use a star as a separator when you are printing them, right? This is a separator that you can override always, but by default the value of the separator would be a single space in Python. All right, let's go back and continue to learn. Now, yes, strings can be enclosed within single quotes or double quotes, right? When to use what? Okay, are we supposed to use double quotes? Are we supposed to use single quotes? Or is there any specific thing I need to follow? Well, to understand that, Let me show you a couple of examples. If you have printed some mess, you first of all you have enclosed your string within single quotes. So it is something like this. Well, no problem with this. It just prints, he said. But what did he say? If you want to continue to print more around this, you said, you may say, he said, okay, um, you may say like this. This is perfectly fine because these are different strings. He said is one string, hello is another string, literal. You are printing two string literals, but you want to use quotation marks your output. Like he said, hello. Is this possible? You look at this carefully. You have opened one single quote. You have opened another single quote. You have closed only one single quote. So do I need to close another single quote here? Let us try it out. But this will give you an error, invalid syntax. Right? So what does it mean? You have nested the single quotes here. Right? You have nested the single quotes. So if you have already enclosed your outside string with single quotes, you cannot use single quotes once again directly. But this is what you can do. This is perfectly fine. Why? You have enclosed your string in double quotes. So double quotes is closed here. Within double quotes, you have used a single quote string. Perfectly fine. You see, this works well. Okay. So when you want to use single quote again within the single quote, you cannot directly do that. But there is an option I'll show you in a second. But always make sure that if you are planning to have a string with single quotes, make sure your outer string is enclosed within non-single quote character. That means double quote character. We have only two options, right? Similarly, what if I wanted to use double quotes always? So for that, what you can do is you can say this is okay. Why? These are two different strings. Within this string, you don't have any double quote repeated. Within this string, you don't have any double quote repeated. This works well, perfectly fine. However, if you print like this, what does it mean? This string has started here and ended here. But within this string, you have repeated the double quotes again. This is going to produce an error, right? So, what is the remedy I can use here? If you want to continue to use double quotes outside, you may use single quotes inside and then close the double quotes finally. So, this works well, right? So, the thumb rule here is that you cannot nest the quotation mark operators. So if you are using double quotes outside, inside you may use single quotes if required. Or if you are using single quote outside, you can use double quote inside if required. Right? So that is what you need to remember. But what if you want, if you are interested in using only single quotes always for both inputs, outside string and inside string? So say for example, if you want to use only single quotes, okay, how do we write it? Generally you will be first writing this like this, no? So what is this? This has opened, this string has opened here and has closed here. This internal string, inner string has opened here and closed here. So what you need to do is just to use slash, backward slash before the inner string. before the inner single quote character. So this is called escape sequence. This now becomes an escape sequence. Okay. So what this works well now. So you have used all single quotes only within the inner string as well as outer string, but it works well because the inner single quote you made it as an escape sequence. What it tells Python is, please consider the character that immediately follows me as it is. Take it as a literal. So whatever comes, it just takes it as it is and it continues to produce output. The other way is, if you want to stick to double quotes always, here also same story, right? Now you have to close two double quotes. One is for outer string, the other one is inner string. Here also you treat it as an make it as an escape sequence. Now it works well. Makes sense. So when to use single quotes, when to use double quotes, this would be a general confusion by most of the people, especially for beginners. So always think about this. Whenever you are using single quotes within single quotes, make sure the inner single quote has been converted into an escape sequence, escape character. Or when you are using double quotes within double quotes, then also make sure that the inner double quote is considered as a escape character. Okay. All right. So that is what you see in couple of examples now, right? So what do you think about statement number 3? It works well because a single quote string has been enclosed within double quote string. No problem. There are different types of strings, right? There are different types of notation of the strings. What about this? This also works well because the inner double quote has been converted into escape sequence. You are using only double quotes everywhere in the strings in statement number 4. However, the inner double quotes is now converted into escape sequence. No problem. What about single quote? In statement number 5, you are using two types of quotation marks. One is for the outer string, you have been using single quote. For inner string, you have been using double quote. Perfectly fine. No problem with this. In case you want to use single quotes always for all your strings in your statement, then the inner string starting with single quote, that single quote has to be converted into escape sequence, right? Here there is a typo. You need to close one more single quote. Otherwise, this won't work. This gives you an error. Let me try this out and show you the error. So there is a typo on the slide. Sorry about that. So the way that you see here is, it was like this. He said, and then of course it has been converted into single. But look at this. What happened? This outer string, it starts here, but it has never ended. So you'll get an error like this, unterminated string literal. What does it mean? You have opened here, but you did not close it anywhere. That is how the slide seems to be, but that's a typo on line number 6. Sorry about that. But to correct that, what you need to do, you need to add one extra closing character here. So it should be like, he said hello, and one more for outer string termination. So this is perfectly fine. All right. This is how you need to write the statement. All right. Now, most importantly, if you are enclosing your string within single quotes, you have to terminate with, if you are starting your string with single quotes, you have to terminate with single quote only. If you are starting your string with double quote, you need to terminate with a double quote only. You cannot mix them up. For example, I start my string with single quote, but I decided to terminate with a double quote. That's not possible. That gives you an error. Or I may start my string with double quote and I terminate with single quote. This is also not possible. So make sure when you are dealing with strings, If you are using double quotes to start your string, use the same symbol to terminate it. Or if you want to stick to single quote, continue the same with the termination symbol as well. Alright. Statement number 7. Hi is one string. Yes, of course. This has been enclosed within single quote. Hello is a second string and these are separated by comma. Second string is enclosed within double quote. Alright, this is perfectly fine because these are different strings and each string has its terminating symbol matching with its starting symbol. No problem. Look at the third one. It is a three single quotes. What does it mean? That is also a string in fact. So string can be represented that way as well. So you can create a string with three single quotes. This is symbol. This is also a string. So you can say greet is equal to, you can say this and you can ask what is there in greet. It will give you it as a string. As I said, Python will automatically consider the single quotes as a string starting and terminating symbols. That's why that entire three string three single quote string has been converted into single quote string this way. So there are three different ways to create a string in Python. Okay, one is using single quote, no problem. The second one is using a double quote, no problem. The third one is to use three single quotes. All are valid. One, two, all of these are valid. So this is how you can create strings. So you learned three different ways of creating strings using single quote, using double quote, and using triple single quote. Okay. And now when I'm passing these strings to print function, of course I can very well do this, right? You can see all hello printed. Each variable now holds hello as a string. But remember, when you are printing a string using print, it doesn't really print the starting and terminating characters. That's why you don't get double quotes or single quotes or whatever quotes. That's very important, right? And what if I want to pass the literals directly like this? Hello, one string. Again, hi, second string. And I want to this time pass another string with three quotation marks, right? Three single quotes. Perfectly fine, right? So this is what you have been seeing on the slide where the print statement on line number 7 takes three different strings, okay? And both of them have been, three of them have been using their own starting and termination symbols. The first one using single quotes, the second one using double quotes, the third one using triple quote operator. All right. Where do we use um, this symbol especially? So when you have to store a multi-line text, that is where this um, symbol helps you a lot. So you see here, welcome to TLIT. Welcome is on one line, two is another line, TLIT is another line. So, but entire thing, if you have to treat this as a string, then you can use this triple quote operator. So if you have to print this message now, so I'm going to show this on IDLE. So I'm using the same example. Okay, so welcome, and I want to move on to the next line. Okay, um, and now I want to terminate here. Yes, perfectly fine. Now if you print the message, you see that multi-line string has been printed this way. Okay. However, if you want to use double quotes like this, welcome, and I go to the next line, automatically it gives you an error. That's not possible this way. Understood? So whenever you want to store some multi-line string in a variable, or you want to deal with multi-line string, use this kind of notation. Triple quote symbol you can use both for termination as well as start. Make sense? All right. That is what we have been doing here. So the other way of printing the same message is, if you want to directly use literal, you can use something called /n. Again, as you already seen, slash gives you, slash makes the following character the escape sequence, right? So how do you print this? If you want to print the same welcome, then you want to come to the next line. For that you should use /n, which indicates that you have to move to the next line, starting position of the next line. 2, that's the only thing you want to print on that line. Again, move to the next line, then type in TLIT, and then you can, terminate the string. You see, it also produces the same output. Here, I have used multi-line string to store that variable, but here using a single print also, I can produce output on the multiple lines using this new line character, right? All right, that's what I have been doing here. So if you just print the message, and it just prints the same, right? And look at this. What is that I'm doing here? For example, outer string is enclosed within double quotes. Outer string is enclosed within double quotes, and within that you have used single quote. Let me show you this example otherwise. So what we have been doing here is, again, it's the same principle. I am using three quotes. Okay. And what was that message? He said by, right? Okay. I am saying he said, and then again I want to print this as it is, no? And now I have to close the three quotation marks, because this is the termination for the outer string. This is the termination for the inner string. Make sense? So this works well, no problem. And you can use this in any way. You can use double quote for outer also. For example, for outer string, I am using double quotes now. See this? He said, and now I am using triple quote operator here for by inner one. Okay, but remember, you have to close every string that you have been operating with. So this also produces the same output, right? So this is how you can write you can build the strings and you can produce the output. All right, now what is a string at a high level we have seen, and let us go more deeper into that. A string is a sequence of characters. Yes, we have seen that, and it is also an ordered set of characters or the sequence of characters. Let us understand what is meant by ordered in a second, right? And it's a built-in class in Python. You need not develop anything. You can just use consume the existing class and its methods to deal with strings. And it is represented using single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes. And string is always of fixed length. So once you construct a string, it will be having some length. Length means the number of characters that the string has within it, right? And if you add one extra character to that or remove one extra character from that, what happens is what we'll see in some time. It would be just creating another string, but it won't change the existing string, which comes to the property of immutability. So strings are immutable. We'll come to that and I'll practically show you what is that. And characters are indexed because these are ordered characters within a string. You can use indexing to access the individual characters, and it also supports both positive and negative indexing, just like a list, right? And strings are immutable. That means you cannot modify the content of a string once it is constructed. If you try that, another string will be created with a different id. We will look at it practically. And strings are sliceable. What is slicing? The same concept that we learned when we were learning lists. Same, you can slice a list. Similarly, you can slice a string. And strings are iterable. And just like a list, strings are also literable. Iterable, sorry. So, all right. So now let us first understand. Okay, these are all the things that we are going to learn. Okay, as part of strings. Okay. All right. So let us start with the very first one, creating the string using three different ways. I have already covered this. How to create a string using single quote, double quote, and triple quote. I have already covered that. And you can also create a string using str function. That I have to cover yet. So let us look at that. Okay. So let us go back to IDLE. I want to store some name using str. So let us just try this. Now if you look at type of name, what is it you get? Name becomes a string type. So if you use str um, and then quotation marks, it automatically becomes a string, right? And I would like to use something like str. I'll give you an integer. See this? Value is 10 now, but it is enclosed in the double quotes. Now if you look for type of str, sorry, value, no, value is the name of the variable. It treats it as a string. So what did I pass to str here? I have passed an integer. I have passed an integer to str. When I have passed an integer to str, that integer has been converted into a string, right? So this is quite possible. And let me show you one more thing. Data or something, some other variable, and you can use str again, and you I am this time I'm going to pass some float value, but sorry, I need to pass a float value, not single quotes, right? This is not a string. Okay, now 12.56 is a type float, but I'm using str to convert that float value into a string. Now if you ask for the type of data, you can clearly see that it is of type str. It is of type str. This indicates that str is um, a function, you can say. Actually it's a method, and you can pass an integer or a float to that, so that you can also create string with it, right? So this is how you can convert an integer into a string or a float into a string. All right, so now we know how to create string using str, and we have also gone through displaying strings. I have already covered that. How to use how to print strings, right? I have already covered that. All right, now let us get on to escape sequences in more detail. I have already covered escape sequences to some extent, where if you want to enclose another string within a string with the same string symbols, then I have already shown you how to do that using escape sequences. And not only that, if you want to use some mechanism to move to the next line, then also I have shown you escape sequence slash n. So you say hello, but you want to now print rest of all the thing into onto the new line. So I want to use escape sequence slash n here, right? So you see hello is printed on one line, and whatever follows that has been moved on to the next line. So slash n is an escape character. Similarly, I just print A. There is another escape character that you need to learn, and then I print B. So what is this? Sorry. You see some spaces between A and B. How many spaces? One. Sorry, I could not count this directly here on IDLE, but generally this tab character would be representing 8 characters or 4 characters in general. But one important thing to understand here, I'm going to show this again. What if I print AA and then slash T and B? What happens? Right? Sorry, I did not terminate that. Sorry about that. You can use single quote or double quote, doesn't matter. Slash T and then B and terminate this. You see, okay? What observe the difference between these two. Okay, B is here and B is also here. I'm trying to show you what slash T means with an example. What if I print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 A's and then slash T and then B, terminate this and see what happens. You see, well, these 7 characters have been printed here, and this is the 8th character. So this is how I can prove that slash T means it is representing 8 characters in this environment. So after printing 7 characters, this is slash T. What does it do really? In this example also, B, the position where the B is printed, where the character B is printed, did not change. So slash T means 8 characters, no doubt, but it doesn't mean that from wherever you are, from there you move to 8 characters. That's not the meaning of it, right? If that was the meaning of it, you would have got this B moving forward in each example here, but that's not what is happening. So what does it really mean by, what do we really mean by slash T? Slash T means, see, go to the next starting position of the tab. So where are the starting positions of the tab? First tab position starts at very first column in the display. The next one starts at ninth position, because 1 plus 8 is 9. The next position starts at 9. So how many characters did you print already? You have printed 7 characters, after which your cursor will be on the 8th position, right? So from there, you are asking to go to the next tab space, the tab start position, which is 9th character. So in the 9th character you can see this. The same example, I'm going to add one more A to print it and show you what happens. Sorry about that. I'm going to print, I did not copy that. Okay, I'm going to manually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then slash T and then B. Look at this now. You got this character B moved forward. Why is that? After printing 8 characters, cursor will be in the 9th position, and then it has encountered slash T. So go to, from 9th position, go to the next tab starting character is what you are saying. So the tab starting positions would be 1, 9, then what? 9 plus 8, 17, 17 plus 8, 25, no? Hope it is correct. Calculation is correct. So after printing 8 characters, cursor will be in the 9th position, but from there you ask to go to the next tab starting character. So after 9, it is at 17. So now you can see B printed at 17th character, as a 17th character. To prove this, what I can also do is I can go to Notepad++ and then I can create a new, sorry about this, I can create a new, you see here, okay, where are you right now? You can see column 9, right? This is what I have been telling you. And after 9, 10, sorry, this is, since being a tab space, I am unable to count this, but starting from 9, it just moves ahead, right? So that is what is happening here, right? Based on this, but I'm sure this tab space and this tab space are not one and the same, because I'm 100% sure this is a four character, because the tab character here has been considered as a four characters, whereas in ideally it has been considered as eight characters. Mostly you would be having some setting to decide how many characters a tab has to take. Okay, in most of the IDLEs you will be having that, but that's okay, you can experiment it later. But in general, there will be a configurable setting by the user, where a user can specify how many characters slash t means in that given environment. Okay, anyways, that is how this new escape sequence slash n slash t works. So in the strings, escape sequence would be slash double quotes or slash single quotes, and slash new line character slash tab character is what you have already learned. So this is about escape sequences. And then reading the string input. This is what you have already been doing. How do you read string input? For example, you want to read the name of a person. So for that, you have to use input function to read, right? You can add a prompt here. Enter your name, right? So here it prompts you, and I just say Abhi. And now if you look at name, you can see that Abhi being printed, stored in the input. So here there is no any kind of explicit typecasting, because input function by default returns a string type of response. So since we are dealing with strings here, I want to store it as string only. There is no any explicit typecasting required. So I am going to try this again. Enter your name, and you type it here. I just type in it as Abhi Kumar. Okay, and now if you ask for what is there in name, you can see this entire thing has been stored in the name variable. So this is how you can also read multi-word strings as input using the input function and store them in string variables. All right. Next, accessing characters by index is a next concept. So let us take this example of name only. Name has this one now, and if you look at it, right, a would be at index 0, right? Python is the zero based indexing. Python follows zero based indexing. So when you print a name of 0, you will just get a as a string. Okay, similarly, can you guess what would be there in name of 1? It would be letter b, lowercase b, right? So this is at 0th index. Next, this is at first index, second, third. Let us see what is the fourth index. It would be space. So you you will be just getting that as a single space. Makes sense. And it also supports negative indexing, right? So if you look at what is the last character, it is nothing but r. In this entire string, you have r as a last character, so you can use that. What if I ask what is there in -3? So this is -1, this is -2, -3 is m. So you can see, sorry, I have misnamed the variable -3. So you can see m coming out from this. -1, -2 is a, -3 is m. So this is how using indexing you can do all this stuff, accessing characters by index. Then immutability is the next concept that I am going to cover now. So for example, let us again see, sorry, let us see what is there in name. Name is Abhi Kumar. I want to add um, or I okay. Now let us first look at the ID of name. Okay, it got some ID, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to store, or I just want to add. See here, concatenation is concept that I'm going to first cover. I want to add Rao to this with a space. Abhi Kumar Rao is a name. Okay. Now if you look at the name, yes, name got changed. from Abhi Kumar to Abhi Kumar Rao. Now, if you look at the ID of name, you can see this has a different ID than the earlier. It means that when you have changed or when you have modified your string, it has created a new string altogether, but it did not do in place modification, just like in lists. I have already shown you when we were talking about lists, where when you do any operation on a list, let me give you an example as again. Say you have 1, 2, 3 here, right? Oh, sorry. List 1 equals to, I'm just creating a string list quickly for you. This is a list 1. What is ID of list 1? You got some ID. Now I am going to do list 1 dot add. I am going to add 4 also to that. Sorry, list 1 dot append 4 to that. Okay, yes. So now if you look at list 1, you see all these 4 values coming out in the same variable list 1. So if you look at the ID of list 1, it is same as earlier. The ID of the list 1 is same as earlier even after the modification, right? It means it's an in place operation on the lists because lists are mutable. So all these operations are in place. Lists are mutable. In contrast, strings are immutable. That is why to begin with, you got some value in a string variable with some ID. And when you have modified that string, it got a different ID, right? So that is what we say a string once created cannot be changed. When I say, but you may ask, yes, you have changed. Why do we say that we cannot change it? We cannot change it within the same ID. Okay, because a new string will be created here. That's why you get a new ID coming out here. So that is the key difference between mutable data structure and immutable data structure. So in strings, once you create a string, there is no way you can change it. If you are going to change it like this using adding some extra thing or removing a character, what would happen is you will get a new ID. That means you have created a new string variable altogether. That's why ID got changed, right? So if strings are immutable, let me look at name again. Um, I want to change this lowercase b to uppercase b. Is it possible to like this? What can I do is please assign capital B at index 1. Does it make sense first of all? So at the 0th index there is A already. At the first index, please store capital B is what I'm asking using this indexing. But this is not possible because string object does not support item assignment. Does not support item assignment means that is immutable. String is immutable. So you cannot just go to particular index and change the string or a character within that position. Make sense? So this is also one way of proving that string is immutable. If you try to update some string, some portion of the string using indexing or whatever way, it doesn't allow you. But if you are using concatenation, it allows you. However, yes, there should be some means of creating another string from existing string. That's why this is supported. But this name variable is different and the other name variable, earlier name variable is different. How to prove that? Look at the IDs. IDs have changed. That means these are two different variables. So this explains you the concept of immutability. So never try to change the existing string using indexing because that's not supported at all. That results into error. Alright, with that said, let's move on to the next one. Membership operators. Yes, well, what is membership operator? Again, if you look at name, you see all these characters present in name string, right? Now I want to know if if the here it is a string, whether it is in name or not. Yes, it is there, right? Because you can see the letter A in name. So it gives you true. What if I ask whether AA is in name? whether AA is in a name. Sorry, not in, is in. I have given is additionally. Yeah. So it says give false because it doesn't find AA anywhere within this string, right? I can ask if there is something called a raw in name. Yes, raw is present, right? So it gives you true. So I can also ask if Mr. is in name. It's not there. MR is not there, right? So now the other way, if you want to use not in, it is quite possible. Not in name, which gives you true because MR is not in this entire string called name, right? So name is this. Within this, you don't see MR anywhere. So MR not in name gives you true because MR is not present in this entire string. All right. This is how membership operators can be applied on strings. And then functions and methods. Yes. The very first thing, I'll just take some simple examples. Okay, what is there in greet? Greet has hello. Yes, this is a good example for me to explain you easily. What is the length of greet? This is finding the length of the string. As I said, string length is nothing but the number of characters present in that string. So hello has 5 characters. So length would be 5. That's all. Length would be 5. You have 5 characters. And what about the length of this name? This is of 4 characters. Space is also counted because space is also a valid character. So 5 characters here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, one more space, 11, 12, 13, 14. So if you ask for length of name, that should be 14. Yes, that could be 14. You can also directly ask like this. Directly pass a string to this and check how many characters does this string have. It has 2 characters. So this is how you can use the length function to check what this is. Okay, to check how many characters this string has. All right. Similarly, of course, this is a function that you can make use of. Okay, and there are. Let us now move on to. Let us take this name again. What is name? Name is Abhay Kumar Rao. Now I can do a couple of things on this. I can say R1. I am just using some other variable. Just that's all. Okay. Name dot. I can use. What is there in R1? You can see all the characters within this string name have been converted to uppercase. Those are now present in R1. So if you now ask her the ID of name, it has something. The ID of R1 definitely it should be different. Why? Because did you change the existing string? Not really. You have created another string because strings are immutable. So you cannot change this lowercase name. So name will be remaining as lowercase character only still. But you have created another string and that is what I have stored in R1. Right? So upper is a method on the string that you can use, right? Similarly, you can also use, I am going to store this in one only just to show you. You can use name dot lower. Excuse me. So if you just look at what is there in R1, everything in lowercase. Now, do you think the idea of R1 would be same as earlier as this? It shouldn't be, right? Yes, you see, it got changed because this is another string you have created. Strings are immutable. So whatever there was in R1, after performing another operation, it will be creating another string and the hence, though the variable name is same, its ID would be different. Alright. So this is how you can create lowercase strings or uppercase strings like this. And the other thing that I would like to cover here is R1 is equal to name dot title. So if you look at R1, what you see here is you will get every starting character of your string converted into uppercase. Every first character of a word in your string will be converted into uppercase. That's what you clearly see here, right? And say for example, I am going to put something like A, B, C, D, E just to show you. Okay. Now I'm going to store this st or one. I'm going to do this title. You look at R1. You see, though I have stored B in capital, it has been converted to lowercase. Only the very first character of the word would be in capital. Rest of all will be converted into lowercase. So this is how title helps you to convert the first character of each word in your string to uppercase and rest of all the characters to lowercase. All right. Next, I would like to cover another one, which is or let me go with name. Name has multiple character words in it, so I can use it. Capitalize. So what is there in R1? You see here, capitalize. What is the difference between capitalize and title? Another important interview question. So title will just convert the first character of each word into uppercase, whereas the capitalize will convert the first character of each sentence in your string into capital. Let us take some example. Story is what I can say. Story is one string, and I'll write something. Once upon a time, there lived a crow. Okay, he is greedy. Just something like this. This is all one string only for us, right? It is just one string. Okay, but it has two sentences. That's okay, no problem. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use capitalize in this. Okay, sorry. Let me do one thing. I have myself added capital letters here, so you may not be able to understand this. So what I'll do is I'll just change this to lowercase myself, and I'll make this as capital letter, and some random characters I'm converting into capital letters just to show you the difference. And he is greedy. Okay. He was greedy. Okay. Now you can just print the story and you can see whatever way I have stored it, that would be the way it is stored. Now I'm going to do is what I'm going to do is story dot capitalize. Okay, hit R1. You see what happened. Sorry, the very first character. See, if you look at this, I have stored O as a lowercase, but you see here it has been converted into uppercase. So this is how. And not only that, lived, it has changed to lowercase completely. Crow, uppercase, it has changed to lowercase completely. Was uppercase, it has converted to lowercase completely. Greedy, in greedy, G was uppercase, now it got converted into lowercase. So this is how capitalize works. So title is just to convert each first character in the first characters in each word to uppercase, whereas capitalize will convert the first character of your string into uppercase, and also the rest of all the characters would be converted into lowercase. It makes sure that rest of the characters are in lowercase. If they are not, it would still convert them into lowercase. This is how these string methods work. So there are so many string methods, and let me show you that one quickly. So you have seen that just now. Story dot. Okay, so story dot. So if you look at this, right, there are many like capitalize, case hold, center, count, right? Encode ends with find, format. All these are functions. Is whether it is an alphabet or not, you can check with this function. Whether it is an alphanumeric character, you can check with this function, right? So whether it is a decimal, whether it is a digit, so many functions are here, and I would suggest you to explore these things on your own, these methods. So some of these I will cover now, just to give you some um, confidence. So again, let me go back to mm, what is your name right now? Okay, good. So I want to know how many times A has been present in this. You see, A has been present for two times is what says. Count is a function, a method, sorry. Count is a method that I have used. So how many times A is case sensitive, right? So it won't count for capital A. Okay, this is one A and this is another A. So it found A for two times. So similarly, I can ask for how many times the word Q is present in this name. It's not there, so it gives you 0. So Q has never been part of this string, so the count would be 0. So this is how you can use count to find the number of times a specific string has occurred within another string. So I can ask how many times the string mar is present. Kumar has occurred only once, right, within this entire name, entire string. So it gives you 1, right? So this is how you can check, you can count the number of substrings within a given string using this count function, right? That is how this count function works. Similarly, I have created one string. I'm going to create one string now with welcome, right? And if you print string one, you will see that preceding spaces as well. But I don't want to have those spaces. I want to get rid of those spaces that are at the beginning of this string. So for that, what you can do is you can just use trimming for that. That is what trim means, right? You can use trimming on this string. Sorry, strip. Yeah, sorry. You should use a strip for this. So strip strip. So now if you look at S1, you won't have all those preceding spaces. Okay, this works well for leading spaces as well. So again, I'm going to store welcome, and after that I'm putting a space, I'm putting some spaces. So if you look at string one, it has some leading spaces, but if you again use trim on that, str1 dot trim, you can, sorry, strip, sorry, every time I have been using a wrong method for this, str1 dot strip. S1 has welcome now. So you can use this one, and sometimes you have both mixed case. So you have something called welcome, some spaces at the beginning, some spaces at the end. And if you look at str1, you see all that coming out. If you want to completely strip all of those spaces, then you can use the same method. Str1 dot strip. And now if you look at S1, you can see all those spaces have been wiped off. Not only spaces, but new line characters, tab characters, all of them will be wiped off using this strip. And there are also functions like lstrip and rstrip where you want to only strip the left side spaces or right side spaces. That is how you can use them. So again, I'm giving you one example. I'm putting spaces before and after as well. Okay, and now if you ask for string one, this is what it is. But I want to strip only the left side ones, left side is, spaces, but right side I don't want to disturb. So for that I can say lstrip. Now if you look at S1, see, left side string spaces have been stripped or removed, and right side strings are still remaining. Now if you want to even get rid of them as well, you can say S1 dot r strip, strip on the right hand side, another method. Now if you look at S1, it is clean string without any spaces before or after, at the beginning or at the ending. This is how these are. There are multiple functions that you need to really understand. Sorry, I have come forward here. Yeah, let me just quickly jump on to where we were. We were in functions and methods. I have covered functions and methods, right? Now, let us move on to traversing through characters in string. Yes, strings are iterable and strings are strings are ordered, right? So the characters within a string are ordered. So, for example, again, let me go to name and see what we have in name. Yes, we have something in the name, and if I have to um, traverse through this, a simple way is to use this kind of for loop. For ch in name, you can print ch. You see all these characters in this string, okay, have been printed. Okay, because print prints only one character at a time in according to this code. You have seen all of these printed on their own lines. Space is also printed here, right? So you are so using, you can implement your own counter function. Now if you want to know how many times a particular character has occurred, you can use a counter and you can do that. So let us try that quickly. So you have something called uh, count. You want, what is that you want to count? You say you also want to count a only. Counter should be 0 initially, and then you can start doing this for each character in name. You have to write a if condition, right? If ch is equal to a, then only, oh sorry, I missed the colon there. Ch in a name, if ch is equal to a, sorry, wrong syntax. If ch is equal to a, okay, then what is that you need to do? You need to increase your count. Why it did not give me the indentation? Anyways, I'll try on my own. Count underscore a plus equal to 1. Okay. Now if I ask for count underscore a, it gives you 2. So you are now in a position to write your own code for one of the members methods of a string, right? Count. You can count on your own how many characters are there. I have shown you the output of this count earlier using the built-in method. So if you want to know name dot count and you pass a to that, that also gives you 2. This is how you can customize. Once you know how to traverse through a string, each character within a string, you can do whatever changes you want to do, right? You can count or you can create another string excluding some specific character. So from this name, I want to get rid of all A's. That is possible, right? You can keep constructing another string only when the character is not equal to A. Keep adding those characters to the string. Make sense? So that is how you can um, understand this concept of traversing. Okay. Next one is slicing. Again, let me see. Oh, sorry. Okay. What is their name? Name is Abhi. So slicing is very similar to what we have been doing on lists, right? So what I would say is I want everything from 0 to 4. Remember, starting index you need to mention, ending index you need to mention, ending index is exclusive. So here what you are literally asking for is for the characters that are available within 0, 1, 2 and 3. 0, 1, 2 and 3. That means Abhi has to come out. So that is what you see here. So slicing is, this is how you can do the slicing on strings, right? And by default starting index is assumed to be 0. So this also produces the same output. And sorry, what does this slicing mean? Starting index is not mentioned, ending index is not mentioned. It indicates that I want every character within the string, everything in the string. So that is what you see here, right? And what if I also ask for 0 colon? That's all. And I did not mention the ending index. So what you see is you'll get everything in the string again because the ending index is considered to be length of the string. So it is equivalent to length of name. It also produces the same output. Makes sense? So you can split, you can slice the string and you can extract only whatever you are interested in, substring that you are interested in from that string based on the indexing, based on their positions of those characters within the string. You can extract and you can store it in a separate variable if you want, or you can print it directly. If you want to store it in a separate variable, you can say name1 is equal to name, and you can slice this maybe starting from 0 to 4. I can say now what does name1 have? It will just have only Abhi because the first four characters is what I was asking, right? So this is how you can do this. And just like in strings, you can reverse a string, you can reverse a string using this syntax of this one. Now name1 will be reversed, right? The reversed string has come, but name will not change because string is immutable. Name will have the same string as it is. Make sense? All right, now what is the meaning of this? Let us look at it. I have to get everything from this, but I have given it as 2. What does this really mean? What is your name? This is your name, right? So it starts with a. This is for skipping basically. You want to skip every second character. Okay, you start from A. Okay, A has come. You have to skip this B. Why? Because you have to extract only every second character. So after accessing A, you have to skip this, and this is the next second character, and that's what you see here, right? H. Then you have to ignore. That means every alternative character is what you are getting because you used 2 in this step or skip. 2 ignore space. Yes, you get it. Then you will be getting space you got. So K will not be there. U will be coming out. M skip, A will be coming, then R and space are ignored, and sorry, R is ignored and alternative is a space. Again, you got a space. Then R you have to skip. A you have come, you have received, you got it, you have considered it into your result. 0 you have to skip. After that, string got terminated, so you stop there. So what does it mean? What does this expression mean then? Slicing of 3 means what? More you slice, less number of carrots you get because you are asking for every alternative third character. So a anyways you will get, and every alternative third character means you have to ignore this, then you will be getting I. So you got I here. Space you ignore, K you ignore. So next comes U is what you have considered. Ma ignore. Then comes R has come. So space you ignore, R you ignore, capital R you ignore, A has come. After that, there are no more to ignore because minimum you have to look for 2 characters to skip, but there is only 1 character, it stops there. So this is how you can use a slicing and get whatever portion of the string that you are interested in. So that is all about slicing. And the next one is concatenation. Concatenation is again interesting. So I can just give you an example as first name is Abhi. Last name is Kumar. Okay. I want to construct a name fresh using these two. That is where concatenation can come into picture. Plus is a symbol that you should use for concatenation. First name is not defined. Oh, sorry. Again, name typo in name. First name plus last name. And now you look at name, you see that entire name that has come. But the thing is, there is no space between these two. If you are really interested in that space, what you can do is you can use another concatenation between these two. First name plus uses. This is another string, no? Right? This is also string, space string. And then you add last name. Now you look at the name, you can get Abhi space Kumar. So whatever, if you have multiple strings and you want to club them together and construct a new string, this is the way, right? This is nothing but concatenation. The concatenation symbol is plus, where you can combine multiple strings together using this plus operator. Okay. And the next one is repetition. Repetition is again quite simple. You have been doing this in the past on other data structures. So I want to repeat this Abhi Kumar for 3 times. You see, Abhi Kumar, again Abhi Kumar, and again Abhi Kumar. So you can, once you have a string, you can repeat it for whatever number of times you are interested in. And it should work on the other way also. Say you want, it doesn't matter how the operands are, whether it is the string first or the number of times first, it doesn't matter, but you will be getting the same result. So here the repetition symbol is a star, and you need to mention one string and one integer. How many times you want to repeat that is what you need to mention. So this is the string repetition. So you have some string as blah, and you can repeat this for 3 times or 4 times or whatever it is. It becomes blah 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 blah. So this is how you can just use string repetition. All right. And some practical applications of strings. The last topic for us today is application of strings, and I have already given you, right, where do you use strings? You want to store the name of a person, yes. Okay. You want to store the city in which he lives, yes, you can store it. Okay. Anything, you want to store his mobile number, okay, whatever it is, anything, right? And you want to store anything that describes that particular person, and you don't want to perform any arithmetic operations on such data, then string is most appropriate data structure for you to consider. All right. So this is how you can use strings to store any kind of information. And if you are doing some project like um, storing the inventory or managing the customer buying cart on any e-commerce platform, their item code, it is a numeric, but it could be alphanumeric as well. Item underscore code, because you don't really perform any arithmetic operations or on item code is always unique, and you just want to know what item the customer is referring to. So in such cases, it could be BAX or based on whatever it is. Okay, they can give their own conventions here. So this definitely can become a string. Okay, and in some situations, if the item code is only numeric also, you don't really want to perform any arithmetic operations on that in general, because it is just a description tag for each item that is allocated uniquely. So in such situations, rather than going as a numeric type or integer type, you can consider it as a string type, right? So this is how practically you can use strings to store different types of words or sentences in the form of string. All right. So with that said, I would terminate close this session today. And once again, all the platforms that I have referred to, the main Technolearn IT Technolearn IT website is this. Okay, and all the courses that we offer, and also if you want to get in touch, these are the different channels or the ways to contact us, and most important, the resources. You can download all the resources that we have been using to conduct these sessions, and very soon you will be seeing session 12 content also being added here, and you will also get the information about the next live session on the same web page, and you can visit this web page frequently and get up to date information about these live sessions and other things. And the other one is the Technolearn IT YouTube channel, where you will be getting all these live sessions and also all the quizzes, daily quizzes you will be getting. All the daily quiz will be posted on a daily basis on this channel. And once you subscribe, you will be getting all the notifications. And I would suggest you to watch these quizzes till the end, because the answer would be inbuilt within these quizzes and you will come to know the answer also. So you can guess the answer, and by watching till the end of these quizzes, which is just half a minute quiz every day, half a minute, 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds in fact, you can validate whether your understanding or whether your guessed answer is the right answer or not. All right. With that said, I will close this session for today and stay tuned for next live session. All right. Thank you.